Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tanapano Premamritam Manidhi
Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuran Militanyena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manavistam Stavidanyena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Karamaya Dadanti Swapadantikam. First of all, I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha and Shiksha Guru, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Starasata Sri Simad, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Shiksha and Sannyas Guru, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Starasata Sri Simad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Shiksha Gurus, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharti Goswami Maharaj. I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Bhagavan, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, unto Sri Arjuna, the hearer of Bhagavad Gita, and unto Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself. I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the commentators on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srila Sridhar Swamipad, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sri Ramanujacharya, Sri Madhvacharya, Sri Baldev Vijayabhushan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. I offer my obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are present here today. My Dandavat Pranam. So, yesterday we talked about the opulences of the Absolute. And we spoke about Arjuna's question. Arjuna asks the question. Please tell me in detail about your vibhutis, your opulences. Krishna answers that. And then after this, that was 10:16. Now, the 10th question in the list of 16 questions that drive the narrative of Bhagavad Gita is going to be 11:3. And we're going to see Arjuna make some statements and then ask a question in 11:3, which will drive this conversation in the 11th chapter. And in 11:31, again, he will ask another question because he will become bewildered about seeing this universal form that he's about to ask to see. And then the next question won't be asked till 12:1. There are some very important and interesting points which are discussed in the 11th chapter, and we will try and touch on them all in this class this evening. So, after Krishna tells Arjuna that, but what need is there, O Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge of my vibhutis? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. We discussed Advaigyan Paratattva, Paramatma, how Krishna is maintaining this whole universe with just a fragment of himself. Now we are going to speak about this universal form. Arjuna, after hearing about the vibhutis, says I have heard your instructions on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered to me, and my illusion is now dispelled. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glories. So now, what Arjuna is doing here in these two verses is he's reflecting back. He's confirming. I've heard everything that you told me when I asked those questions in 8.1 and 8.2. You told me so many things in the 8th chapter, so many things in the 9th chapter, and the 10th chapter in the beginning, and I've understood those things, and you have dispelled my illusion. I asked you to show me, to explain to me about your glories, and you've explained those to me, and I have heard them in detail, and I understand the glories about your appearance and disappearance, about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glory. So now he confirms with Krishna that he understands what he's heard in chapters 8, 9, and 10. Okay? Based on the questions that he's asked. Now he's going to ask another question. Evameta yatata tvam atmanam parameshvara drashtam ichami te rupam aishvaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So that is his question in 11.3. Okay? Then he makes a qualifying statement about it. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. So he asks to see it, and then out of humility, he makes his point. If you think I'm qualified to see this, then you please display it to me. There is also some inner meaning in why Arjuna has asked this question. And Prabhupada makes the point that in the future, people may come and make declarations of their opulences. Oh, I am Krishna. There is one Baba from the 60s. I am this one, I am that one, I am Rama, I am Krishna, I am everyone, now I am Mera Baba. So like this, he was saying that he was the Supreme Lord. And there were so many persons at that time who were declaring themselves to be the Supreme Godhead, the Supreme Person. So Krishna has made all those declarations in the 10th chapter. Now Arjuna, in order to show the world that Krishna is not just saying this, but Krishna can actually display this, he asks this question. Can you show it to me, please? And out of humility, he states, if you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. So, therefore, he asks this question because he wants to establish Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as Arjuna is concerned, he's inspired by the statements of Krishna. Those were the statements that were made in verses 1 and 2. But in order to convince others in the future who may think that Krishna is an ordinary person, he desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. So this is the point. He wants to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He wants to establish his position as the one who is actually the universal form pervading this entire universe, so that in the future, if any bogus person may declare that I am this or that, or if somebody may question Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have the evidence. So this is the meaning of this question, and then the humble qualifying statement that Arjuna makes. Now, Krishna responds, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Pasya Me Partha Rupani Shastaso Ta Sahasrasa Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varnakritini Cha. The Blessed Lord said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea. O best of the Bharats, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Rudras, and all the demigods. Behold the many things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here completely. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes by which you can behold my mystic opulence. Sanjaya said, so now Sanjaya, who has been relating this conversation, now relates to Dhritarashtra what he's seeing in his heart from 11 days earlier, when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. O king, speaking thus, the Supreme, the Lord of all mystics' powers, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine, dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent, all expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna. If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once into the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So here's a word picture by Sanjaya to try and convey to Dhritarashtra, who is blind, what exactly this is. Dhritarashtra has felt the warmth of the sun on his body. So he knows that it's a very powerful light. So here he's saying that hundreds of thousands of such suns together may impart or resemble the effulgence of this divine form of the universal form. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. This is all Sanjaya relating this to Dhritarashtra. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands, offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna said, My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva, and many sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded without limit. There is no end, there is no beginning, there is no middle to all of this. Your form, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs, is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the best in all the universes. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. You are the origin without beginning, middle, or end. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are among your great unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you are heating this entire universe. Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, as I behold this terrible form, I see that all the planetary systems are perplexed. All the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They are very much afraid, and with folded hands they are singing the Vedic hymns. The different manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadyas and Vishvadevas, the two Ashvinis, the Maruts, the forefathers and the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, Asuras, and all perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your many faces, eyes, arms, bellies, and legs, and your terrible teeth. As they are disturbed, so am I. O all-pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Seeing your radiant colors fill the skies and beholding your eyes and mouths, I am afraid. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all other soldiers, are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouths and perish. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into the blazing flame. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays. Scorching the worlds, you are manifest. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear it. So at this point, Arjuna, he has now had an epiphany. He sees all the soldiers on the battlefield, and indeed all people in the universe rushing into the mouths of Krishna and being crushed by them. He now understands. I am not the doer here. I am not the person who will be killing the Kauravas. They are already destined to die. And now he asks this question, who are you? I desire to hear of it, because he wants to confirm his epiphany, his realization at this moment. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Kalosmi Loka Shaya Krit Pravidro Lokan Samartam Iha Pravritta Rite Pitvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Yavasti Tita Pratyanekshu Yoda. The Blessed Lord said, "Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." So now, what Arjuna has been thinking from seeing what he has seen, now he understands in reality that this is the truth. Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyasachin, can be but an instrument in the fight. So now it is clear. He's not the doer. He has understood everything that Krishna has taught him by practical realization and vision of the universal form. Now, the Blessed Lord says, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered his obeisances with folded hands, and began falteringly to speak as follows. This is a very important verse. This is a verse you can mark if you're having any disturbance by bhutas. So this verse you can recite. Arjuna Vacha Stane Rishikeshatava Prakirtya Jagat Paririshyatyaну Rajyate Cha Rakshamshi Britani Disho Dravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha. O Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and flee here and there. All this is rightly done. So now, this verse, it has been stated, if you have some disturbance by bhutas or demons, you can recite this verse. This will help you. O great one, Arjuna says, who stands above even Brahma, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage up to you? O limitless one, O refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You know everything. You are all that is knowable. You are above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. You are air, fire, water, and you are the moon. You are the supreme controller and the grandfather. Thus, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again. Obeisances from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. I have in the past addressed you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times while relaxing or while lying on the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse me for all my offenses. And Arjuna is now remembering the intimacy that he had with Krishna. It stated that Krishna and Arjuna would sleep in the same bed, and Krishna's feet would be by Arjuna's head, and Arjuna's feet would be by Krishna's head. This was the intimacy of their relationship, that they would eat off the same plate together at the same time. This is very deep, intimate kind of relationship. You are the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you, and bear with me as a father with his son, or a friend with his friend, or a lover with his beloved. So like this, Arjuna is at this stage, his Sakyabhav, the intimacy of his friendship with Krishna, has been compromised. It has been disturbed. And he is now seeing Krishna as God, the Supreme Personality. He's not seeing him as his intimate friend any longer. Srila Narayan Maharaj used to point this out as an example of the difference between his Sakyabhav and Yasoda's Vatsalya Bhav. Yasoda Mai, when she sees the universal form, for only a split second, she becomes shocked, thinking, is he Vishnu? Is he Narayan? And then, no. Immediately, the Bhutas have come. Not possible. So, the strength of Yasoda Mai's Vatsalya Bhav was unshakable. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. O unlimited Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Now, all of this is being done. All this is being stated by Arjuna in this conversation with Krishna, so that it can be established, Krishna's position can be established. The two-armed form of Krishna can be established as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unlimited. That he is the source of the Vishwarup. That he is the source of the Vishnu form. Therefore, first Arjuna asks, show me Vishwarup. Then he says, now show me this four-armed form of Vishnu. Then, after asking this question, Krishna responds and he displays the four-armed form and then ultimately the two-armed form. And Arjuna's response to this is very important. Also, there will be a very important verse in 48, which will, again, it's presaging and showing something that's going to take place in the future of this chapter in verse 54. Okay? Or 53. Verse 53. So, the blessed Lord said, "My dear Arjuna, happily do I show you this universal form within the material world by my internal potency. No one before you has ever seen this unlimited and glaringly effulgent form. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this." Now, the way this verse is recited, Naveda yagna dhyanyaner na daner, not by studying the Vedas, not by doing yagyas, not by giving in charity, none of these things, okay, can help you to see the universal form. It is a completely different meter and form than the verse in 53. And there's a reason for it. Because he wants to establish that there's only one verse that's supreme, and that's repeated twice. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. He essentially says the same thing when he's talking about the darshan that he gives Arjuna of his two-arm form. He essentially says the same words, but in a different meter and in a different way. And he makes the point here, only you've seen this form, but in 53 he makes the point that only those who follow what I'm saying here and in the next verse can see this two-arm form, which is very rare. So it widens, okay? It widens. Who's eligible to see it? Your mind has been perturbed upon seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, while speaking thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-arm form, and at last he showed him his two-arm form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. When Arjuna saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing the human-like form so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified, and I am restored to my original nature, to my Sakyabhav, to my relationship with you. This is very important because it's establishing that the two-arm form is the source. And this is going to be further established in the next few verses, because this is verse 51. Then the blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, the form which you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. And now he's talking about the two-arm form. Then he gives in verse 53, Naham veder na tapasa na dane na chejaya sakyam evam vido drashtam drashtavam asibam yata. Not by studying the Vedas, Naham veder, na tapasa, not by doing any kind of austerities, na danena, not by giving in charity any amount of money, na chejaya, not by performing any ritualistic activities, any of the ritualistic yagyas or ritualistic rites in the Vedas. Sakya evam vido drashtam. The form, you cannot see me by this process. By any of these processes, you cannot see this two-arm form. It is not by these means that one can drashtavan asimamyata, that you can see me as I am, that one can see me as I am. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am, because now Krishna is widening who can take the darshan. Who has seen the Vishwarup? Only Arjuna. But who can take darshan of this two-arm form? anyone who's willing to do the following process. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevam vido Arjuna. Gnatvam drashtam cha tatvena praveshtam cha parandhapa. Ananya bhakti, bhaktya tvananyaya sakya. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service. Anyabilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Only by this. Only by this. Then, aham evam vido Arjuna, can I be understood as I am standing before you now as two-armed Krishna. So, verse 53, he says essentially the same thing that he said in verse 48. But he doesn't repeat it in the same way or the same meter because he wants to establish very clearly that the most important verse is Manmana Bhava Madbhakto, and he wants to make a distinction between seeing the Vishwarup and seeing the two-armed form. He wants to make it clear that the ultimate form is the two-armed form, that the two-armed form is the source of the four-armed form and the Vishwarup. This is why the setup was made that Arjuna asked, show me Vishwarup. Okay, now show me forearm. Okay, now I see the two-arm. Now I'm in my original consciousness. Seeing your original form. I'm in my original consciousness. This establishes the importance of the two-armed form as being the source of Vishnu, the four-armed form, and the Vishwarup. And that's why some people, they will read this verse and they will say, no, this verse means the Vishwarup. No. 48 has already established that. 48 has already established that. O best among the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. Already, the Vishwarup has been established that no one else can see it but Arjuna, and no one could see it by performing any of those activities. That's the Vishwarup. That's out of the way now. Then he shows the four-arm form. Then he shows the two-arm form. Krishna, when he shows that two-arm form, Arjuna says, now seeing the original form, I'm in my original consciousness. I am restated back in my Satyabhav with you. And Krishna then says, this form, this two-arm form, not the Vishwarup, not Vishnu, this form, you can only see it in one way, by the practice of undivided devotional service. Gnatvam drashtam cha tatvena. You can gnatvam, know me, drashtam, see me, cha tatvena, in truth, praveshtam cha, and enter into the deepest mysteries of my understanding by this process of Ananya Bhakti, undivided, pure devotional service. Then, mat karma krin mat palamo, mad bhakta sangha varjita, nirvarai sarvabhuteshu, yasamam etipandava. My dear Arjuna, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of previous activities and from mental speculation, karma and jnana, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. So here it is established now in this 11th chapter. Who is Krishna? Krishna is not Vishwarup. Krishna is not the four-armed form of Vishnu. Krishna is the two-armed form. The two-armed form. And later we will establish by the teachings of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, who was the guru of Srila Narayan Maharaj, and the sannyas guru of Narayan Maharaj, and the sannyas guru of his godbrother, our Srila Prabhupada. He will establish, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj will establish what is the identity of the person who's speaking this Gita. At that time, I will tell you some information that Gurudev explained to me confidentially so that we can understand exactly who is the speaker of this Bhagavad Gita. We're going to do the first part of the 12th chapter, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about the different levels of devotional service, because this next part, this question that Arjuna asks here, is the next logical question to ask in the sequence of events. It's not Vishwarup, it's not Vishnu, it's the form of Krishna. No, but wait, there's one more thing. Isn't that form from the unmanifest Brahman? So now Arjuna asks this question because he wants to establish what is superior. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam pariyupashyate ye chap aksharam avyaktam teshum ke yoga vitama. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect? Those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? So here we now go with the last bastion of support for those who refuse to surrender to Krishna. Krishna comes from the Brahman. Okay, maybe he's not Vishnu, maybe it's not Vishnu, but certainly he must come from the Brahman. All of this must come from the Brahman, the unmanifest. And this is the doctrine of transformation as opposed to Parinam Shaktivad, which is the concept that it's Krishna's multifarious energies headed by Srimati Radhika that is manifesting all of this. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Veshyam Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shradaya Pariyopetas Temam Yuktattamamata. The Blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be most perfect. So here, Krishna unequivocally establishes what is superior. Worshipping or meditating on the Brahman, the unmanifest, or his personal form. Then he gives some small concession to the Brahmavadis. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. And here, he's going to point out, and this is referring back, Ye yatamam prapadyante tam satayava bhajamyaham. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. You want to enter Brahman? Okay. Or maybe like Sannyasi Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, who is a Mayavadi sannyasi and worshipping the Brahman, the impersonal, and he sees a bhakta, a sadhu, a Vaishnav sadhu, display all the ecstatic symptoms of pure bhakti, and upon this he realizes that all his knowledge of Brahman is insignificant. All of his scholarship, all of his training, all of his education, all of his devotion to the unmanifest form of God is insignificant, because Krishna wants to help every living entity to come back to him in his original personal form. So therefore, yes, at last they may achieve me. They will achieve me because I will make some arrangement by which all of their austerities and penances and services that they've performed are rewarded by getting the proper association, as in the case of Sannyasi Thakur, by which they can come to me. But then Krishna gives the kavet emptor. Klesho dikataras te sham avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukam deva bir avapyate. Deha vabir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Gatir dukkha. Dukkha means progress is difficult. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So now it is complete. It has been established. It is not the Vishwarup, the universal form that is the source of everything, as some philosophers in India propose. It is not Vishnu that is the source of Krishna and other things. It is not the impersonal Brahman that is the source of everything. Krishna, in his personal two-armed form, is the source of the Brahman, the Paramatma, the Vishwarupa, everything. It all comes from Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavam Swayam. Ete chamsa kala pumsam, Krishnastu Bhagavam Swayam. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarna Karanam. He is the source of all sources. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Bhagavan. Nothing is superior to him. Nothing is equal to him. And everything is connected to him. Nothing is separate from him. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by the conversation in the 11th, 10th, 11th, and beginning of the 12th chapter. The establishment of Krishna's supremacy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original two-armed form is established, and the process for achieving a darshan of that form as Ananya Bhakti is established. And now Krishna is going to lay out in the 12th chapter what is Rag Bhakti, what is Vaidhi Bhakti, and what is Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra, and all the different forms of Bhakti will now be laid out by Krishna in the rest of this chapter. And then we will understand how to surrender to Krishna, and then we will go over the 6 chapters of Jnana Yoga, which will explain for the predominant amount of people in society how they can practice Krishna consciousness in their constitutional activities while understanding what to do in their conditional activities, so not to spoil their constitutional devotional service. So that is the end of class for tonight. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.